Hi there everybody, Flash Drivesman back again with Suzerain and Will of the State. And last time we left this, we'd gone to war with Rumburg. Okay, yeah, we'd gone to war with Rumburg last time I left this. David had scheduled a private meeting with me, but didn't spy for what it was about. I heard a knock on the door. Mr. President, may I come in? Yes, David, please come in. Thank you. Slowly made his way towards the chair in front of my desk and sat down. First of all, thank you for your time. And I want to ask how you are doing. It looks like war is truly upon us. It must be taking its toll, just like it did on me all those years ago. But of course, I wouldn't presume to understand what you're going through right now. I was never a leader of a nation during wartime, after all. I'm not interested in the results of this war. Please be sure to take some time for yourself. If you ignore the mental fatigue, it will slowly creep in on you. It will poison your thoughts. Thank you for your valuable advice. Thank you for taking my advice over the years. He started coughing. What a privilege for me. I had a chance to watch my student grow into a fine, strong leader in my lifetime. What a privilege indeed. You tried your best to bring reform to Swordsland, that is valiant in itself. It is okay to feel frustrated by failure, but change unfortunately doesn't happen easily. You paved a path for the future generations to follow, and they will remember you for it. That's what I'll do, whatever I can to live a good world for ones who will come after us. That's the spirit. Can't be sulking about the failures for too long, otherwise we'll spiral into despair. This country does not need any more despair. David coughed again, this time for longer. I had a conversation the other day near a newspaper stand. It piqued my interest, so I kept listening. They were talking about you. They were calling you a radical centrist. What do you think about that? I am a centrist. My father, Art S. Wishy, used to say, always know yourself. It's good to know it's good to know that you do. So the elections are fast approaching. How are you feeling about your chances? I can't be sure about I'm good. That is what a leader should say. I'm afraid I have an announcement to make to you. Why? What's wrong? After this term, I will be retiring. For what reason? You're replaceable in my cabinet. I've been in this line of work for many decades now. I swore an oath to myself years ago. I could have ever felt like I didn't have the physical capability to serve anymore. At this point, I will become a hindrance. That time has come, Mr. President. My bones are aching, my hands are shaking, my voice is failing. Besides, I am sure you could find a younger minister who is a little bit more full of life. He looked at me and chuckled, which turned into another cough. Yep. Thank you for you have been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Thank you for your years, your service to this country. It is an honour, Mr. President. He stood up to leave. Hug him. We seem to do that. Best luck, Anton. Thank you. He turned around and left. I think Rumburg might have annihilated us before we get to the election somewhat. That's something he's got to say. 3 weeks preliminaries, Rumburg's President Rain's impeachment trial has been set. It will be heard by the Supreme Court just prior to the election. Oh yes, we're done for. Impeachment witnesses' reliability called into question. Plain witnesses, exclusive reports are cast out to the reliability of so-called witnesses who will be testifying. There is reason to believe that many of the government officials asked for evidence against Rain, have personal vendettas against the President, or were bribed by Rain's enemies. President to be dethroned. People front coming strong. Yeah. Retiring. Rumburg possesses nuclear weapons. Okay, yep. What about the fact we're about to get to war? Anybody say anything about that? Swedish media Mongol Marcel Komotti has officially endorsed the next president of Swordsland. Excellent. Brilliant. That's good to know. Women for Rain. Women, are they going to vote for the vote? It's good to know as well. Opinion polls on minority voters has been very positive. Good. That's good to know. Anything up here? Rumburg. What? Rumburg. Reader. USB in light of the encroaching war with Rumburg, the USB Congress will not happen this year. President Anton Ray retains his position as party leader and will represent Sutherland, represent the United USP as president candidate in the coming elections. Good. Yeah, and intelligence has confirmed that information from Rumburg and whistleblower is true. Rumburg does have nuclear weapons capable of threatening Sutherland and Eastern Macopia. The license is rectified a barrage of sanctions on Rumburg by member states. And we're about to go to war with them. The door opened, Lucien entered. Mr. President, there is a problem. What kind of problem apart from the impending war with a nuclear armed country? Some cabinet members said they want to speak to you urgently. They are in the White Room. Please follow me. We are walking. Do you know what it's about? I was told just to come and get you, sir. I opened the doors, went to the White Room. I looked around. Sam was sitting playing with a pen in front of him. Pascal looked incredibly stressed and he wiped off his sweat. What is going on here, Mr. President? We are here to let you know that we are handing in our resignations. What is the meaning of this? Exactly what it looks like. We're resigning from our positions in the cabinet. We have our own reasons, but we simply can't go on anymore after what happened. What are your reasons? I suppose we owe you an explanation. Either you acted against the epidemic which saved millions of souls, I cannot will not stand with your abuse of power. The things you did behind closed doors shook me to the bones when the news came to my knowledge. You may have your reasons, President, but that is for the greater good, but the same line of reasoning will simply to more atrocious actions. I will hand my resignation once our term is done, Mr. President. I failed my mission as Minister of Economics. During that term, instead of stopping the recession, we made it even worse and entered disorderly depression. I blame myself for this. I couldn't offer you better solutions. I have proven that I am unfit to serve the Minister of Economy in Sutherland. I will resign at the end of the term. I'm afraid things are already in motion. I took a deep breath. I looked at the determined faces. I have no choice but to accept your resignation. Okay. Could always be replaced by an expert. His departure wouldn't be felt. Pascal's wasn't that useful to the administration, and Pascal wasn't useful to the administration anyway. Good riddance. Oh, fair enough. I was expecting much worse than that, to be quite honest with you. Much, much worse. Okay, yeah, fine. The wave of resignations. Yeah, wave 2. Get a grip. Following week's resignation of the cabinet, eyes betting on this term is approaching the end. No selections for vacancies have been announced just yet. Yeah, who's on my side now? Dinner at home. Okay. With my impeachment trial looming and the war on the horizon, I've practically been sleeping my office lately, but tonight I made a deliberate effort to get home early. I told Monica down that I wanted a family supper just like the old days. Monica promised to cook something special. I didn't know if my imagination, but there seems to be more guards outside my complex than usual. I hurried past them, went inside and locked the front door behind me. I heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Hug her. How was school today? Shrugged. I won a prize at the science fair, honestly. I think they were teaching girls different stuff before because they knew we were smarter than the boys. You might be right. She smiled. Mums and I got to do some homework before dinner. I followed her with my eyes. As she went upstairs, she started to look more and more like her mother. I started to guess Monica was sitting stirring a pot, her back turned to me. It smells delicious. She rolled on in surprise. When she realised it was me, she smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, Anton. I guess I've been on edge lately. I don't go. Go fix yourself a drink in the living room. I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat in the living room, poured myself a big whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's women's magazines. It took me a second to realise Monica herself was on the cover headline, Sutherland's Woman of the Year. Then I came rushing back downstairs and made a beeline for the coffee table. She picked up a pencil case. Almost forgot that. Do you hear from your brother these days? Not much. He doesn't call us often now. He's got a girlfriend. Papa, is it true that he's got into wholesome state? How he got into wholesome state? Would you do that for me too? He keeps them so we'll never find out. Monica bit the door. She smiled at the two of us. Dinner's ready. The others gathered around the dining room table. Monica ladled out bowls of zabia. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Raise your glass. Nights before he's been holding all of us. Yep. I said we should focus on these are sort of people I forgot about, sort of the most important, my own wife and daughter. Yeah, let's say that. I hope someday we'll be able to put this behind us and be a normal family again. Eyes were shining, but right now there's no time. We need to get out Soul and all of us. Ooh, hang on. And we'll have plenty of time for that because I'll retire politics in this term. Yeah, let's do that. We'll start taking a breath on holiday. Side heavily. I think you should quit politics, not just drop out the election, retire. Honestly, I have been having some thought about why. Without this happen, I don't think you belong in the government. And every day you stay there gives your opponents more chances to smear your reputation and ours. They've been making fun of me at school because of you, Papa. You being president hasn't been used than any of us. Maybe you should go back to the way things were before. Oh no, we're 10 minutes in. It's making a... Okay. I don't know what to do now because I'm thinking that we could fight. I really don't know. Do I quit now or not? Oh no, I don't know. I really don't know what to do. Game over if I do that. I'm gonna keep going. On the thin line, you never did know when to give up. Can we finish dinner now? Of course. So if it's finished, I feel in silence. Once we've cleared our plates, I stood in my study. I still have work to do. I wonder if we'll regret doing that. What do you call? Hope he's not lost. Yeah, okay. Alright. Hope he's not lost indeed. I arrived at the Ministry of Defence Centre the war room to discuss the war plans with the General Staff. I had never seen this room so packed with people. Every single top-ranking General Admiral in Swordsland was in attendance. In addition to the military officers, their assistants were spread out around the room. They stopped their chat and immediately saluted me. As if we're standing over the table, arranging tokens atop the oversized map of Swordsland and Rumburg, he walked over to me and saluted. Mr. President, at ease, gentlemen. The General sat down and took a seat at the head of the table. I looked around. General Vulcan nodded at me. Asif stood up and picked up an extendable pointer from a shelf on the wall. The chatting with the General Staff began again. Asif extended the pointer and loudly hit the map on the table right in the centre. Silence! The room immediately went quiet. Everyone had their attention on Asif, and he turned to me. Mr. President, may I begin? Please do. Yeah. Find out if the Rumburgers will kill me before my own people do. Very well. Everyone in the room has read the reports that the Queen of Rumburg is getting ready for a nationwide speech in 2 weeks. We have credible intel that she will be announcing a declaration of war against Swordsland. The Rumburgian troop movements in the last 24 hours indicate they are bolstering their frontline strength. The time has come. Mr. President, at this point we are sure that they are preparing for a large-scale invasion. This will make us an enemy of the Queen, but if we triumph, she won't be able to matter. It won't matter enough for us to worry about. Let's go with that one. She's out for blood, that's for sure. They think they will emerge victorious. Let's prove her wrong. Give it to me. What are odds of success? Odds of success. Let me tell you something, Mr. President. Rumburg doesn't have an idea what or who they are dealing with. We will destroy their arms and send them back to whatever hellhole they came from. Some of the generals laughed. Rest assured, Mr. President, I am more than confident that we will win. How does our military strength compare? The estimate puts active military personnel at around 900,000 to 1 million. Meanwhile, with approximately 200. Oh my God. Yeah. As for Air Force estimates, put the number of aircraft in their fleet around 700. We have approximately 400. We're outmanned, outgunned. Our fleet has a total of 60 ships, approximately 60,000 sailors. Fortunately, the main theatre of war will be on land, so their navy will have a limited impact. I predict that they will try and block our seaports, reducing our trade and disrupting our supplies. Rumburg has around 110 ships, according to our latest intelligence reports, high-tech submarines as well. We don't have an estimate of how many subs they have. The Queen has ensured her royal submarines are under state security, thus our intelligence officers are having a hard time spotting them. Overall, their numbers seem to be superior, but I would like to remind everyone that wars are not won with numbers alone. Yeah. Isaac glanced over at the generals and stopped at walking. He shook his head. How soon will they commence the attack? Judging from their movements and the insider information we have received, we have 2 or maybe 3 weeks if we're lucky. There was a collective gasp from some of the general's assistants. I understand the situation. Good, now we talk about our defensive strategy. Let's begin with our land forces. We cover the first army deployed in Estor to reinforce the border. This is a place they're most likely to attack from. I think they'll come that way and this way, personally. Okay. We cover yeah, okay. The second army is standing by alone for a possible assault from the north. I think that's where it's going to come from. The 6th army is currently guaranteeing a Narbel waiting orders. Due to potential of an invasion, all 3 armies have been undergoing rigorous drills, especially during the past few months. They're paid to fight and die for their country, Mr. President. You've done well. No need for fighting, just doing our duty. Well, that's the kind of path to victory in this war. He's confident on Mr. Potato Head is. Our top strategic location is Thornborough, Rumburg's capital and the Queen's residence. Needless to say, if we manage to capture the Queen, the war will end. What are the chances of capturing the capital? There might be an opportunity to push the Rumburg after we capture Zarborough. We're ahead of ourselves. We'll get to that when we discuss the war plan. Yeah, once you receive exit. And perhaps, Mr. President, I'd rather die than give up wholesale to invaders. And I know that a prideful person, when I see one, if we strike fast, we can capture the capital and the Queen before she comes to her senses. If we can't do that, it will become a war of attrition. Whether we can last them depends on our economy. Let's move on to what our other objectives are. Aside from Humble, the location we must capture to how you have a chance to win this war is Zarborough, which is where? There. So is Zarborough. Where is Thornborough then? It's Zarborough. Okay, that's the capital. Okay, anyway. Okay, so, alright, okay. Another strategic location is Dome. Capturing Dome will prevent us from being surrounded and cut off from the east. Okay, Dome. So we've got those 2 there. Okay. Basically, if we capture... Oh yeah, I skipped over this one here. Zarborough is in intersection of Rumburg's complex railway system. If we take it, we'll have more options, both offensive and defensive. Capture Dome. It will stop us being cut off and surrounded. Fine. It will reduce the battle line, so we'll have to cover our... It will also reduce the battle line we have to cover with our limited defenders, limited numbers. We do have allies that could aid us, but I see no point. We can fend them off easily. That's ridiculous. We can't fend them off alone. We need help. We're talking about fighting against 1 million men, 1 million. We'll call our eyes to war. We've been in communications ready. We can make it a fit. Now we can make it official. At any rate, that is what we're dealing with. ISF could continue our soldier handed him a note. Mr. President, David was requested during the war planning session. Let him in, as you wish. As the soldier entered, he walked in slowly, fired off a round of salutes to the generals and approached me. Mr. President, my friend, I had a feeling my guidance might be needed. Anton, please allow me to assist in the war plans. kind of guidance are you talking about? Of course, I lack military knowledge of our esteemed generals, but I know people, Mr. President, especially our own people and our allies. Beneficial through foreign partners, maybe. I still advise you keep a close eye on them. You might be right about that. As you gracefully mentioned, I step aside. Now is at the head of the table. I'm sure our allies will agree to fight by our side. However, depending on our plans and our past interactions with them, some may be more committed than others. He has a point, Mr. President. It's worth keeping that in mind. That's exactly why we shouldn't involve them. Let's move on with our war strategy. Our first objective is taking Zarborough. So how are we taking this city? 3 options on the table at the moment. One is simply dig in and endure the first wave of attacks over the area after they are weakened. Second option is to launch a full-scale offensive on Zarborough. We will strike at them hard and fast before they have a chance to draw the first blood, which is insane in my opinion. I love this pair, they're great. Our third option is to do a pincer attack and wipe out their forces and then march towards Zarborough. In any case, the soldiers and the main armies are well drilled and prepared to carry out strategies we choose. Magnolia will join us in the war. Yep. Into contact says their war target is Dome. Fine. Rumburg annexed Dome in the past. It's only natural that they want their ancestral home back now. With the strength of their military force, they will probably be able to take Dome by themselves. Unfortunately, the chances of success are very low. Also, I won't be surprised if Rumburg overwhelms them at the Dome front line. Since we haven't recognised Hedgeland, the Agnolians have more worried about Vagsland invading. The Agnolians are likely to leave half their army defending that goddamn island. That might be probably Rumburg shatters Agnolian army. That will have access to Agnaland and it will flank us in the east. Oh dear, that's a point. Can we ask them to join us in the pincer strategy? However, that would leave Agnolia vulnerable from a direct attack from Dome, leaving their capital with a striking distance of Rumburg. They will need to concentrate their troops if they can hold out against Rumburg's superior forces. How is digging in, wait for them to attack a good option? We can launch when they launch our initial offensive, our soldiers and tanks will be entrenched in strategic well fortified positions. Let them throw their manpower to impenetrable lines of defence. That will grind down their armies that they're so proud of. With their pride shattered, their morale low, and their front line disorganised, we will launch an all-out assault and strike the finishing blow. Which makes no sense. We're handing them the time and motivation to come up with a plan to attack us. I agree. They outnumber us, Yusef. With this move, we will destroy or at worst limit the effect of their advantage. We don't even have the manpower to cover the entire board there. We don't have enough reserves to fill potential weaknesses. All thanks to you, you were the one who pushed the president to remove the mandatory conscription. The gendarmes can be deployed on the front line as well to support the war effort. Their police force welcome. Their skills will certainly be used during the war, but they shouldn't be joining the front line as common soldiers. Yeah, I can. Why can't we just launch an assault against Zarborough? If we choose to assault Zarborough, our first step will be to have our bombers strike them on the front line. More precise at strategic points on the path to Zarborough from Estord. Okay, that way basically. Oh, okay. More precisely, yep, we've just read that. Then our tanks will come up and punch their defences at Crimsrad, followed by our soldiers. Yeah, so we've got that way. Okay. After we penetrate their front line, we can race with Zarborough, threatening an encirclement of their forces. Which sounds much easier than it is. Let me remind you that we are butting heads with an army that is far larger than ours. They can cover weaknesses in their line rapidly, which will leave our troops that are pushing through isolated. Our modernised air force has the capacity to accurately strike at strategic targets across the battlefield. General Cook, I want to remind you that you were against modernised air force at first, now you see its benefits. I simply use the tools I have, RSF, as any good general would. Tell me about the pincer attack. We will feint an assault on Crimsrad with the full intention of tricking the enemy. Casualties are expected to be a certain extent so that Rumburg does not become suspicious of real intentions. When they believe they're winning, they will push for Estord. With their confidence so high, they'll never expect the 2nd Army from the east and the 6th Army from the west, which are holding their striking positions. At the moment they capture Estord, will pull the trigger. Our bombers will strike at the logistical hubs behind them, after which we will attack Estord from 3 sides, destroying the enemy forces. While Rumburg is recovering from the losses, Zabo will be right for the taking. That's the time for us to immediately launch a counter-offensive towards Zabo and take the city. Our modernised army is trained and equipped for such a task. The Gendarme will be excellent help during our strike at Estord. They know every nook and cranny of the city. I am confident we will achieve complete victory with my strategy. Let's choose a decision. First phase. Let's go with the pincer plan. Excellent. So we're doomed then. Yeah, I just that's great. So basically we're doomed. That's almost like Private Fraser out of Dad's Army. We're doomed, I tell you, we're doomed. If for the non-Brits here, that is a very old British sitcom about the Home Guard in the war. Very, very funny. It's a classic of British sitcom, that is. Anyway. Yep. Onto our allies then. Second front. I trust they will take. No, let's leave them to take Dome. Signed off the plan of the first of the war and handed them to the nearest soldier. So let's assume that at this point we have Zabo in our hands. So this is just the first step. From this point on, it will be harder since we've gone deeper into hostile territory. I see 2 options for us to move forward. We continue pushing towards Thornburg and capture the Queen, or we turn attention towards Dome. We risk being flanked from the east with the strategy, but it is a risk we must take. Fortunately, Aglan and Nagas will be mostly shut down due to the war happening at the border. Most businesses have already begun to flee the city of Latchhaven, which is our primary trade hub. This our economy will take a big hit due to this fact. Industrial production and trade lanes will be crucial at this point in the war. Our military production is an all-time low right now. We lack supplies in some units. Fortunately, our trade volume is not enough to support war effort. We'll have to rely on our own production. Any questions, Mr. President? How do we take Thornburg? After Zabo is taken, the enemy will be in shock and their morale will be low. Hence opening up a very free opportunity for us to march towards Thornburg. However, if we hesitate even for a moment, this window will close, even with the enemy will realise that we are overextended and will try to cut us off. They'll see the bulk of our army isolated in the cold north. Fortunately, our modern force will be properly trained to prepare for exactly such a mission. As much as I want to crush all of them again by taking their capital, our doctrine does not include this kind of rapid advances. To boot, our supply line will be stretched too thin, creating a weak point that can be exploited by the enemy. Our gendarmerie can stay behind in Zabo to cover our flank. What about our allies? If we choose to push Thornburg, it needs to be quick and decisive. It would be unwise to take our allies with us. We can either have them stay behind and defend our flank in Zabo or assault Dome. However, acknowledge persistence attacking Dome with or without us has brought up some dilemmas. It's all good if they manage to accomplish retaking the city, but I and our generals don't think they can. If one big army has managed to launch a counterattack through Agnolia from Dome due to Agnolia and take the city, well, we're in big trouble. I think we're in big trouble anyway. Zabo will be surrounded from north, west and east, and we practically sit and duck at that point. They're even requesting more supplies for their siege of Dome. Fortunately, we've barely enough supplies for ourselves, so that's out of the question. Why can't we just defend Thornburg from this point on? That's out of the question. It will leave us in the open schedule on Rumburg pincer attack. They will strike us from all directions, north, east, west, and of course east from Dome. Fine, get that. Elaborate on our strategy. Dome and Zabo are excellent logistically. They are a rail between the two cities. Okay. Just like the L1 between Lockhaven and Allsword. There's aided in transporting military troops and military supplies and troops. We can easily launch an assault on Dome within half a week of taking Zabo. With that said, control our system is key because Rumburg can utilise it as well. If they can withstand our assault and launch a counter-offensive with the ease of direction of Dome to retake Zaba, we will lose everything we've gained so far. However, with the capture of Dome, there will be no need to take Thornborough. It will be too late to attack anyway. Rumburg would either reinforce their southern defences, or the Queen would come to assist and flee the capital. Even if we manage to capture Thornborough without their Queen, we won't be able to hold it during the winter. Our supplies will be too stretched for that. However, with the two biggest cities in our hands, we can lay out a defensive line, especially around Dome. They took only because oil flows surrounding it. The industrial sector since heavily relied on them. With their oil supply cut, they won't be able to fuel for their huge war machine. Their economy will slowly collapse. We will effectively check them until they capitulate. We have to consider defences in and around the city of Dome. Ever since they took it from Magnolia, they'll be building up fortifications in case Magnolia attempt to retake the city. Furthermore, due to the length of the operation to take Zaba, they will come to the realisation that Dome is our next target. There's no guarantee we can take a well-fortified city while holding the line to the west and northern fronts. The John can stay behind to protect our flank of Zaba. I'm ready to decide. Your decision, Mr. President. We'll march towards Rumburg and then this was the decisive strike against the enemy. No, let's go for it. It's decided then. I'm warning, if Rumburg listens to these well-trained officers, this plan will not work. I'm adding to our battle plan. Let's decide. Our allies' movements during this phase. I know we'll probably be struggling to take Dome at this point, and that gentleman is our plan against Rumburg. We have a one chance of victory. If we fought at any point during this war, it will be the end of Swordsland as we know it. Mr. President, you will need exhaustive to mobilise the forces. Yep, get it signed. Fallen Crown. Sign it off on it. Okay then, that makes it official then. Turn to the generals in the room. We have work to do. Get back to your post immediately. General saluted the war and dispersed. The war and dispersed to begin the operations. Only two people left were me and David. David approached me. Win or lose, this will be the last great contribution to my country. Let's protect our Republic, Anton. I completed to my last breath. Tired smile. He warmly shook my hand before moving towards the door. I was alone in the war room, looking at the master sword and laid out on the table. I picked up one of the little metal turkers and it turned out of in my hand. It represents 1,000 men who are willing to die for this country for me. I hoped I would not let them down. Wow. Let's get to see it. One some little bit to look at as well. Longland hereby reiterates commitment to peace and is to potentially Rumburg and Swordsland have to be prevented to escalate further. We are strongly urging calm in the region. Commander sent us reports that the armies have been placed under a full assault on Dome, that yet the numbers seem to be betraying their commitments to retake the city. A significant portion of the country's forces have stayed behind to defend Helgeland from the potential Vagland invasion. Okay. We all know that's going to happen. Right, what they want then. Yeah, urging calm. What if we could persuade them to come, because they could come up that side as well. Right, let's yeah. Attention all able citizens by law, you are required to report immediately to the nearest armed forces recruitment centre. Immediately you will be tested for aptitude and receive your orders. On failure to abide, legal action will be taken your duty to the nation. Following mobilisation, orders issued by the government, the reality of war, Rumburg is drawing closer. Stop the war if we do so. Yeah, geopolitics. Rumburg prepares for an invasion. Troop performance limits along the Swordsland-Rumburg border has increased tenfold over previous weeks, signaling a potential hot conflict brewing. The recent nationwide mobilisation order also proves Swordsland is prepared defence against Rumburg. The regional neighbours and alliance relations are calm in the region, with the exception of President Smollett. Now it's hanging on a thread. Smollett, Wazak, he needs to come in. If he comes in, it goes a three-way front against him. Right, okay. Yeah, okay. 1 million men recruited so far. Alright, so we've got manpower coming through. I was standing at the exact podium overlooking the hill of Pride where migration took place. However, mood was far from cheerful. I looked at the people sword and blow. They were gazing up at me with confusion and concern. Alban approached me, holding with me to me before I took the stage. I've just learned the impeachment trial has been dropped due to the war, Mr. President. That's one benefit, I suppose. He quickly went back to the spot. I couldn't help but smile. My name was announced. I stepped forward. As cameras flashed, the crowd started clapping. My brothers and sisters. The clapping chain feared to a deafening silence. As you heard yesterday, Rumburg declared war on Swordsland shortly after their dastardly attack on our sovereignty in the past month. Sovereignty. If their damn queen thinks that they can get away by killing our soldiers, then I will tell them, think again. Fortunately, the times of peace are coming to an end due to the aggressive actions of Rumburg. It's my duty, Sir President, to inform you that in the following days. It is my duty, the President, to inform you that in the following days our country will be targeted by an heinous attacks by our enemy. Yep, we'll cover that one. So pride, stumped by Sutherland, we have many enemies because of our jealousy of our prosperity. The country prepared to defend to our last breath. Yep. Let's teach them that the fire business side such people unlike any other. They've used their good intentions to maintain peace against us for far too long. I say enough. We have no choice but to take the next steps against this unwanted war they are instigating. They dare to threaten my son the price to pay they're willing to, and they will pay with their lives. Our people, our territories, our home is in grave danger due to the hostilities they are yet to come. Obviously, we will be victorious. Yeah. And that's what is hereby declaring war. So, unfortunately, they've given us no option but to declare war to protect our sovereignty. I have no doubts that we will emerge victorious from this senseless conflict. God bless Swordsland. Yep. So, chatting man, a soldier must have stood up and saluted me at the same time. Raise your fist. At the podium, the crowd roared even louder. Last time I provided my speech, I was worried about what the future would bring. I had to wait to find out. Messages: Swordsland goes to war. Radical, senseless war. Swordsland war. So we've got Rumburg ship sunk and captured in Milky Sea. Has been spotted patrolling Milky Sea. Even Sutherland's improved fleet had not been able to keep their Hurley Bay. Reports sunk ships and naval battles mounting substantially. Unfortunately, she lost on men on Rumburg's side, Milky Sea prominently storage control. We managed to sink and capture hundreds of trade ships and capture carrying supplies for Rumburg. Even some of these guys are civilian boats. Okay. Right, okay. Our front lines request more supplies. Units fire selectively, which could unfortunately strain away some having enough supply. Oh, dear me. I think we're going to lose this. In place of all surge managed to break our defences, there has been atrocities and war crimes, reports of outlined death marches, disgraced civilian property, mistreatment of prisoners. They are fighting like cornered animals, their crimes is... Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's not going well. Large marks we faced to meet but our commanding had a meeting in the city to review the battle plans. However, we could run to large charting matches. We defend Eastern border, others were routed. One of their commanding generals immediately signalled victorious. These headquarters meantime telegraphed the national and all propaganda spies in Rumburg. With their shattered their flank exposed and cut off, we gained ground. With the Rumburg general capitulated. Okay. Right. March the city empty. Intense fighting. Yeah, I've read this one. I've read this in the wrong order. Rumburg, bombing begin. Okay, right, so I've read that in completely wrong order. Let's get down here. Heavy fighting broke out. Rumburg has advanced on defensive pitches. And we lost 87-2. You may sneak them to him. System has spotted their position. Okay, that sounds like a good job. Let's go up here. We do this. I told you, target location is a tour of the heavy weapons. Okay, this is going alarmingly well. We're up here. This is current Sutherland. Okay, fine. Alright, continue. Okay then, let's continue. Some time later. Okay. Did it work? Or are we dead? I'm actually quite nervous now. I'm actually really nervous about this. Okay. We're still here. Battle of Holsword. Oh. I did my time slowly race from my seat in the protected bunker on the outskirts of Holsword. I increased the volume of the crackling radio. The enemies up upon us, resting back. We're surrounded from all sides. They're using some kind of gas. Soldiers' eyes and ears are bleeding. We need immediate assistance or victory. Have any medics? We need medics. They are approaching the room palace. We must present at all costs. Squad 6 initiate final charge while we barricade the palace. Please tell more if I love aggressive Swordland. They're coming through the outer gates. They killed everyone. We surrender their weapons, but they won't stop shooting. If there is a God, I beg, please end this. If there is anyone out there listening, please, the world needs to know what is going on. This is no longer war. This is a massacre. Squad 2 out. I turned off radio, swallowed hard. Nobody knew I wasn't at that palace except Yusef. Baxi managed to get my family here as well. Right now, we were monitoring communications. During I walked in and he saluted. The enemies are preparing to breach the palace. It's only a matter of time before they realise you're not there. How long till they find us? That depends. If your ex-secretary handed Rumburg the palace schematics, they might know about a ton at least from the situation room. Even if they do, the room was built to withstand nuclear attacks. We should be safe at the moment. The diversion of the palace buys us some time. Of course, the question is how much time. We've lost contact with the squads protecting the outer perimeter of the palace. This guess is as good as mine at this point. Back to the main room. Papa, we're going to die. Yep, devastating over the end. It's going up yet, I'm not ready. Anton, can you come in for a second? We went to the corner, Dana won't be able to hear us. What is going on? Tell the truth. We're most likely done for. But Dana, Frank. Then Frank walked with my dad seriously said, are we screwed? Don't fret, you are Ryan, you have to be strong. The answer is yes then. On occasion many recently I felt the room shaking, must have been the bombs. The kids' room pulled between one side. The palace is about to fall. If one of the Rumburg combatants overheard they say they've located the tunnel entrance. So this is the end. Looks like it. They've got to station above us, and the only way to get out is through the palace. The only way out is through the palace, or not at all. If I stay here and start saying my prayers, look around, get comfortable, because this room will be our grave. Yep. Not much choice. He sat, grim sound send Mr. President. I just wanted to say, grip on his handgun, I'm sorry for failing our country. It feels just like yesterday when we were raising our banner over Salisbury, but then this attempt to capture Thornburg ended in failure. Oh well, okay. Regrets. Martha got us into the Rumburg War. Martha Joe got us into the Rumburg War. He didn't reply. He sat in opposite corners of the room. An hour and a half passed, then an hour and a half. Suddenly bolt up like quiet. They are here. I can soldier shouting on the other side of the door. A mechanical whirring sound. They're about to draw their way through to us. Anton, we can't let them get in. Dad. Papa. It's going to be alright. Mr. President, what do we do? Bring the pills, I won't take us alive. Roger that, sir. Filled with a couple of small pills. Give this to your family, we don't have enough for everyone. You and I will all do this, have to do it the old fashioned way. I thanked them, returned to my family, told them what they had to do. For basically, yes, I've paid on the doorstep. Already, sir, no matter what, it's been an honour to serve you, sir. I'll see you on the other side. He saluted me. Morgan Sakura. Victim Distar. I will be in the other room. A moment later I heard a gunshot. The drill stopped. Did my turn to face the door. I looked down at the gun. So it's giving me. The door opened. The gun sound entered. He trained his rifle on me. Put the gun at your head. Okay then. The soldier stared at you as he pressed the cold steel at the side of your head. Your hand began to tremble. You pulled the trigger. Your life flashed before your eyes. You thought of happy times, sad times, all decisions you had made that led you to this very moment, and so Anton Rain was no more. Wow. 2.2 million people, civilians died in the war. 8% maternal deaths recorded. 500,000 lost their lives during the Rumburg invasion. Wow. So we were down there somewhere. I'm stunned. I don't know what to say on that one. So we were down we were down kind of after he saw this reformism and capitalism. Wow. That didn't end well, did it? Succeeded by Beatrice Livingston. Wow. I oversaw the destruction of Swordland. Okay then. Where did we go wrong? Declare war on Swordland, but on Rumburg didn't help. But because all that spend on the military was pointless. What should we have done differently? What should we have done differently? Should we have aligned ourselves with ATO as we did in game 1? But as we saw in game 1, 1-1, we did that and we just got overthrown by a military coup. This is what do we do? I'm stunned at that. What could we have done differently? I knew we were coming to end, but I didn't think it would end like that. I'm devastated. I thought I had a chance of actually winning the game. Part of me is like, I wasn't going to do a third one. I was going to take a break from it, but part of me is thinking, we need to do a third one. Let me know what you think. I'm gutted. We died. We got killed in the Rumburgian invasion. Okay then. Wow, I'm stunned. Anyway, on that devastating note and the destruction of Swordland and the death of President Rain, I'm going to leave it just there. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the play. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Okay, it's a great game. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know what you thought. If you want to see another one, let me know. I might take. What I'm probably going to do, I'm going to take a bit of time. I'm going to take a bit of a break from this because we've got some other things to look at. But we'll come back to it because I loved it. Anyway, I'm just going to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. And just mourn the end of Swordland and the death of President Rain at my hands. Because I just had to declare war on a nation that had considerably more troops than we did. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.